Alright, I'm titling this video, Nick Diaz Messed Up. It's been a couple weeks, I guess, since we heard about the 5-year suspension. I just kind of been sitting back and seeing what people think about this, or I didn't even really have an opinion. I was like, shoot. You know, but I've seen Robin Black, very outspoken. You know, Ronda Rousey, very outspoken about this. And, you know, but what this comes down to is Nick Diaz really messed up in this situation. Now, should you be able to smoke weed and fight? Yeah, go ahead. Nope, you know, are they completely right? Did the Nevada Athletic Association, you know, mess this up? Yeah, absolutely they did. You know, as an ego thing, or how dare you do this? Yeah, but the thing is, they're missing the point with this whole thing. Nick Diaz, you know, he had a falling out with Richard Perez, and I don't even know if he's involved with Cesar Gracie anymore. I don't know, but I did hear him say that when he finally got to a point where he got a real manager and stopped being screwed by his jiu-jitsu coach and this and that, the people that were around him, I heard Nick Diaz say that's when he got this big $500,000 fight with Anderson Silva, $500,000 fight with GSP. That's when he got these fights. Now, he was making pretty good money in Strikeforce, $200,000 for some of those fights. But, you know, prior to that, when he first started going on his win streak in Strikeforce, you know, his fights were like $50,000, you know, so. But basically, he got to a point where he got a real manager, and he was working fights for $500,000 a piece at basically 29 years old. Maybe he's 30 now. Maybe he's 31, I don't know. Something like that. You know, about 30 years old. Hey, you're taking fights for $500,000 at 30 years old. And, you know, but Nick Diaz has messed up a lot with his career, and it's been disappointing because I'm a huge Nick Diaz fan. I mean, the first one where he really messed up is when he fought George St. Pierre. I mean, guys, noticeably, he had not been training. He did not look good in that fight at all. If he had came right out of Strikeforce and boom, went and fought GSP, it would have been a heck of a fight. The fight would have not have looked like that. Would he have beat GSP? I don't know. But it wouldn't have looked like that. So, you know, he needed to stay in shape, and he didn't. He was not training. You know, and then you start seeing, and the proof of that is, look, the guy's getting DUIs. When I first saw that he got a DUI, that's when I knew. I'm like, Nick Diaz is no longer, he wasn't getting DUIs when he was in Strikeforce. He was really motivated to come to the UFC, beat George St. Pierre. That's the fight he wanted. So that's when I knew. I mean, the guy's he's not taking it serious. He's not in that beast mode. Do I still want to see him fight? Yeah, I did, but he was no longer in that mode, and I could tell it. However, when you find yourself in a position where you're making $500,000 per fight, and you've gotten rid of the people who were so, you know, maybe, hey, you're just in a position where you're going to make more money, you've got a better manager. You think you'd say, look, you're in an organization where they drug test and where you know you could get fined and suspended for smoking marijuana. You say, look, man, I finally made it to this point. I'm not going to smoke weed, and just not smoke weed. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's like the guys with the steroids. I mean, just stop taking the steroids. Plain and simple. That's it. You know, if you want to just smoke weed and be a goof off and be a, you know, and look, I don't have anything against smoking weed. Like I said, you should be able to smoke weed. But you have to weigh it out. I mean, you finally made it to a position where you're going to make a lot of money, and now you're talking, you know, he was probably fighting fights getting paid $10,000, $20,000. So you did all that fighting just to get to the point to where you are, and where Nick Diaz's main thing is, he says he does this to survive. Well, you finally got to this point, and look, Nick Diaz screwed up. Now, is this 5-year suspension? Yeah, that was just ridiculous. Was I surprised by it? No, I wasn't. I was not surprised by it at all. That's what these types of people are, man. The people with rules, police officers, cops, and all this with rules. It's just a power-hungry. It's a power-hungry thing. Humanity has struggled with that, being free since the beginning of human beings. Everybody just wants to be free, you know, and so it's just been a constant struggle. It's always people at the top making rules, whether it's a king or whether it's a judge or whether it's a police officer, somebody who thinks they have the rules. It's just a power trip thing, and that's what it is with these people. Why would they care if somebody smokes marijuana, you know, 2 weeks before going into a mixed martial arts fight? They wouldn't care. Nobody cares. It's just a power trip thing. We all know that, but the thing is, in society, you can't, you know, I think you should be able to walk down the street with an AK-47 if you so choose to. I think you should be able to live alone in a tank. Would I go outside and walk down the street with an AK-47 right now? No, because I don't want to go to jail. You know, you have to be smart. It's regardless of what you think is right or what is right. You have to be yourself, but you also have to weigh it out and be smart. You have to be smart. You can't be dumb, because if you're dumb, you're going to end up in prison. And there's people in prison that did things that they thought was right. Maybe someone killed their best friend and they went and killed that guy. Well, is he in the right for going and killing that guy? In his mind, yes. And probably is. Right? But now he's in prison. So you have to be smart in life, and Nick Diaz has not been being smart. So now this 5-year suspension. So Nick Diaz, if you're watching, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. This 5-year suspension is probably not going to last. They'll go back to court, and he'll be back fighting hopefully within a couple of years. Now, hey Nick, continue training so you can have that big fight when you come back for 500 grand, or even probably more at probably 32, 33 years old. So you can still have income. That's your best option now. Or are you going to go and not train? You know, because when he fought GSP, I mean, he pretty much looked terrible in my eyes. He looked like somebody who had not been training at all, and GSP was motivated to fight him for sure. And actually, in that fight, Nick kind of started to where he could have maybe worked GSP in the 3rd round, if you guys watched that fight. But he just didn't seem like he had the conditioning. He wasn't able to run that pace and just tire him out. You know, it was like he was going at GSP's pace. He wasn't going at Nick Diaz's pace and really put it on him. But he just didn't have it. He hadn't been training. He was just rusty and all that. So, I mean, really, it might even be in Nick's best interest to go fight in another organization. Go overseas. They're doing this Japan thing. Go fight. I mean, even if you're not going to make 500 grand, but it'd be worth it. You're still going to make money. And when you get clearance to fight, come back to the UFC and get a big paycheck, so you'll be ready to fight. Rather than just, I mean, guys, if you're not doing anything, you're going to get into trouble. You're going to be drinking. Well, you're not going to. You don't have to. But apparently, that's where Nick is at. I mean, this guy's drinking beer. I mean, if you're drinking alcohol like that, you're not taking your fighting serious. I mean, I'm not saying don't go out drinking once in a while, but probably wouldn't hurt your training. But you know, this is probably not the only times he drank. He's probably drinking other times too. And it's just like if you're doing that on the weekends or even once a month, every few weeks, it's going to affect your body. It's going to affect your training. Plain and simple. And with his money, I mean, take a cab. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. And as far as the marijuana goes, he screwed up, guys. It's plain and simple. I'm a Nick Diaz fan, but I don't really see the the outrage or the backlash that everybody. I mean, it's great. I mean, call the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Like Joe Rogan put the phone number. Call them, cuss them out, and that's all fine. But really, guys, if what they should have been doing is you should have been doing that before some stuff like this happens. I mean, if you feel that strongly about it, this should have been done before or continue to work on it. But it's not just like, don't just be doing it because of Nick Diaz. I mean, I don't know if that's not really coming out the right way. But basically, these were the rules. Until those rules are changed and you got that much riding on it, you got to be a man and man up and go do work and do what's required of you to continue that you're going to make that money. Fortunately, he hasn't done anything so stupid that he's in prison. But I mean, hey, he could have got a DUI and killed somebody and been in prison right now. Again, you're not going to be able to enjoy the money that you've made or even make the money that you made if you're behaving that way. So basically, Nick Diaz screwed up. I mean, everything that we love about the guy. Actually, people say that, oh, we love him because he's smoking weed. That's not why. I think he's just an entertaining fighter, and his personality is great. I like that he didn't sit there and kiss their butt in court and all that. You don't have to, but the thing is, you got to be smarter than these a-holes. People like that, judges, you got to be smarter than those people because you don't want to put yourself in front of those people. That's all I'm saying. It really doesn't have anything to do with marijuana or what's right and what's wrong. You have to be smart not to let pieces of garbage like that judge you. You don't want cops judging you. You don't want anybody, type of authority figure, judging you. And you need to be yourself, stay free, but not put yourself in that situation, because that is the exact opposite of everything that we want, is to be free and to do things that you want to do. So, I mean, you have plenty of time to smoke weed after after you've retired, and then you get to just chill back and smoke a little bit of marijuana if you want. And by then it's probably going to be legal anyway. All right, I'll see you guys later.